Hey everybody, my name is Sherry Sutton and I am your marketing mentor. Welcome to our Tuesday live Q&A with me, your marketing mentor. I apologize, I'm running late today. I had a client meeting that ran a little bit late, but I'm super excited to be here. So, two questions that I want to work on this week. The first one is around networking. For many of us, especially if you have a higher price point, networking is an incredibly important part of what we do. But it takes a lot of time. So we want to make sure that we're maximizing everything that we do in our networking to make sure that we're continuing to drive people back to our marketing. So let's talk a little bit about some ways that you can do that, right? So the first thing you want to do is after you meet people at an event, I always try to follow up with them and friend them either on Facebook or LinkedIn. Kind of depends on your audience and how it makes more sense for you to connect. Some people want to connect more personally. Some people are definitely LinkedIn people, right? It depends on your target audience. Like I was just on the phone actually with a client who is an executive coach. For her, all of her connections are done on LinkedIn. That audience tends to be on LinkedIn much more than Instagram or on a Facebook. But if I think about somebody else, like let's say Deepa, who's my favorite local cookie person. We love you, Deepa. She talks mostly to, moms, event organizers. They're going to connect more frequently on Facebook. So depending on where your audience likes to hang out, make sure that you're sending them a connection request, either through, again, Facebook or Instagram. Then once they accept your request, because of course they will, because you're awesome, make sure you send them an introductory direct message just saying, hey, here's a little bit more about me. I'd love to connect further and try to set up, a coffee or virtual coffees now because it's real hard just to get everywhere and kind of fit everyone in. So I'll have one afternoon where I do like a coffee every half hour for the entire afternoon and super caffeinated at the end. So make sure you're inviting them to connect further. The other thing that I like to do with folks is I make sure that I seek them out on their social media and connect with them there. So I'll like their business page. I'll make sure that I go on to their Instagram and not only like what they're doing, but also take an effort to go through their feed. I try to find at least 3 different posts that I can comment on, just say, hey, loved the content. This is great. Ask an additional question, something like that, because there's no better way of supporting someone than showing up on their social media, engaging with their social media, telling your friends about it, all of that. So try to make sure you go online and not only like their pages, but also interact, because not only will it give them see your name multiple times, but it also helps them out. And who couldn't use a little extra help now and then? Then I often will, if I'm following someone on Instagram, I might say, hey, great feed, would love for you to follow me back if you find my content helpful. The whole like, I'll follow you if you follow me. Sometimes that works, but often you want somebody who's coming to you because they're interested in what you have to offer, right? In the same way that you want to do that with other people as well. So I don't like positioning it as a like, well, I'll follow you if you follow me, because then you're just trying to increase your numbers, which isn't what it's all about. It's really about offering value to your target audience and the folks who are following you on Instagram. So that's some of the ways that I capitalize on my networking. I then try to communicate quite a bit with folks through direct message. The other thing that I do is, now that I know, especially on Facebook, now that I know that they're a friend, I'll actually send out like happy birthday messages, or if I see something that they have going on in their lives, I'll make sure I'm commenting. It's just a nice way to build authentic relationships. The best business comes from these authentic relationships where you're supporting each other, you're talking about, business, how you can help one another, but also just connecting as a real person, right? You never want to show up online and be like, hey, we met in this meeting and now here's the 8 things that you can buy from me, right? you're never going to get a sale that way. I mean, you might, but that's not how it works, right? It's all about creating genuine connection with people. And often that means you can't do it with too many people at a time, and that's okay, right? Find one networking thing you're going to go to a week. Make sure you really effectively follow up with everyone, and you'll know the people who you're sort of energetically pulled towards, right? That maybe you want to invite to have coffee with you, or that might be interested in buying your products, or maybe you're interested in buying theirs. I can tell you, like, I've hired a number of people that I've met through networking over the last 6 months. I just hired a physical therapist, a functional therapist to help me with, got an ankle thing. I mentioned Deepa earlier. I bought cookies from her for my wedding. We're rebranding. Big news. We'll tell you more about that later. But we hired Natalia from Power Up BD. She actually hired me, and now I've hired her. So that's how these genuine connections really work. So that's your first tip for today, because I got asked a question about that and networking and how to really make the most of what you're doing on networking, because it is part of your marketing plan, right? Getting in front of the people who might need your products. You do that in lots of different ways, right? Social media, advertising, direct mail, networking is a huge one, especially for people who are really selling face-to-face type services like coaching or mentorship, like I do. So first question was around networking and how to make the most out of your networking. The second question I get asked a lot is, how do I do these presentations? So what does my setup look like? How do I do these presentations? What systems do I use? What's my setup? And so I kind of wanted to share with you a little bit behind the scenes on how I do this. So I use a system called StreamYard. I really, really like them. It is a service that allows you to go live and do one video, but it shows up in lots of places. So I use that to go live on my Facebook personal page, my Facebook business page, my Facebook group, my LinkedIn page, as well as YouTube. So this is being broadcast right now live to all of those places. And all I needed to do was go to one website, and it's streaming to all of those places. The challenge with it is it does not go live on Instagram. So what I do is, and I can't really show this to you, I'll post a picture later in my stories, all right? But what I do is I have my phone, and then on top of my phone, I have my camera. And so the camera for my Instagram is right next to the camera for my StreamYard, and I go live in all the places at the same time that way. It's a super basic hack, but hey, it works. It's all on a stand. I've got a couple ring lights. And so that's the way that I'm able to get my message out to lots of places at once. Because one of the things I hear the most about people, from you guys is, I feel like marketing is overwhelming, right? I have to come up with all new content, and I feel like I have to do all the things all the time, and I'm constantly trying to create things. The best way to think about your marketing is to create one piece of content, but put it in lots of different places. And I actually did a live on that recently, and check that out. But it's something that is incredibly important when you do something like this, like you go live, something like that. Make sure that you are talking about it or sharing it in all the different places. And this is a great example of how I do that. Another great way that I do that, where I take one piece of content and I share it in lots of different places, is on Wednesdays, I usually go live on some topic obviously related to marketing. So what I do is I talk about that in multiple places. So I'll send out an email on Tuesday. I'll do some sort of a promotion for it on Tuesday in all the places. And I use a software called Hootsuite that allows me to send out messages to all of my social at once. Hootsuite's not the best for it, frankly, but there are services that will allow you to do that. And then on Wednesday, I do the live itself. Then on Thursday, I do a recap of the live. Often I'll just do like either a carousel or just a single little short video, or even just one image, and I put that out on all the social channels as well as on email. So it's a great way to take one piece of content and make sure that it's being shown out into the world in lots of different places, because we don't have time to create content all day long, right? So what we want to do is make sure we've got one piece, it goes to all the different places so you can hit all of your different audiences wherever they happen to be that day. And hopefully maybe you'll even get them in multiple places. So those were my 2 questions for this week. If you have any questions that you would like me to cover in future broadcasts, please let me know. You can direct message me or you can email me at sherry@sherrysutton.com, and I will see you next Tuesday. Take care. Bye.